Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen, and there is a bubble bursting. We hate to say we told you so, but we did tell you so, and it's being branded Canada's new century moment. So John, can you go into this breaking news?
Yeah, what's going on is that Home Capital Group has received a bailout, and it is a non-binding agreement in principle for $2 billion line of credit that they got because they got a lot of delinquent loans.
Yeah.
Non-refundable commitment fee of $100 million, drawn funds at 10% interest. And the problem with their high interest savings accounts, which they use to, borrow all this money in fractional reserve banking to people, has dropped $591 million since March 28th. And Home Capital warns of being unable to hit financial targets. And their share actually dropped 61% since 2003. Now, this is the big moment, the new century moment, as we said, what happened in 2008 in the United States with the whole collateralized debt obligation and all this. And who knows if Home Capital Group has been working with BMO, as we were talking about earlier, that put out the collateralized debt obligation, mortgage-backed security of around $2 billion as well. And it's interesting how the numbers are very similar to me. I can't, of course, connect the two because I don't have the proper information. But I'm very worried that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to explode very soon. Of course, they got bailed out now. This is just the pre-stages of the bankruptcy, in my point of view. Because what happens is they keep on, trying to give you money, like with Greece and all these other countries.
Of course,
until you're mortgaged up to you're debted up to your heirs. You would never be able to pay it back, and you're bankrupt. And this is where Home Capital Group will go because the natural outcome of when you borrow too much money to people that can't afford to pay it back, it's very natural that you are not going to be able to survive.
Well, yes, this industry thrives on manipulation and, of course, debt. Debt is something that they love. They love debt, but it always comes crashing down eventually. And we can go into it further in a second, but I just wanted to quickly mention, as I do in most videos where we talk about this subject, really quickly, collateralized debt obligations are, of course, a bunch of really bad packages, mortgages in one package, mixed with a couple good ones so they can rate it high. And but go into this, how this continues to unravel, because there's a few examples of this really starting to come down in Canada right now.
So just breaking news just a couple of days ago, what happened is that CMHC put out a report amid, what's happening with the Home Capital Group, of course. And in the report, they have a chart that we're going to show you right now. And what is interesting here, they have an overall assessment of what's going on in the different markets, because of course markets are different. You got to remember that, like, there's not the whole mortgage market in Canada that's going to go bust. But there is substantial and massive risk in several markets, and I'll mention them for you. If you live in one of them, you might want to take a look. This is our opinion, of course, but it's also CMHC's opinion. Which is, ensuring people that are subprime, that, they don't have X amount of money compared to the people that get a loan from the bank. So they have to insure the people. Now, of course, with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they went bust and had to be bailed out in 2008. So this is the CMHC. It's the same as the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Now, in a couple of bad places around Canada is Victoria and Vancouver. You got Saskatoon. You got Regina, Hamilton, Toronto. That's where there's strong dangers of a huge housing collapse happening.
Well, Hamilton and Toronto are so close together. It's very. It makes sense that this issue would be kind of combining over there.
And of course there's moderate risk in Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg. And also in Quebec. Now, there's a couple of markets that, they say there's very little risk, which is Ottawa, Montreal, Moncton, Halifax, and St. John's. Now, an overall assessment over Canada, on an average, says that Canada is in a huge bubble when it comes to the real estate markets on an average. So there's very, very big danger here right now. And what me and Josh, we've talked about several markets here, especially Toronto and Vancouver, which is terrible overvalued markets right now. What people need to understand is this bubble is going to burst, and it's going to hurt big time. It's not going to be just, it's going to be a little walk in the park, a little bit of rain. No, it's going to be a freaking tornado, maybe 8 tornadoes hitting you at the same time. That's how it's going to look when the markets come crashing down. Because
I prefer not to even be hit by 1 tornado, but 8. I mean,
yeah. Well, there's going to be the problem is all this debt that's built up, not just in the mortgage market. You got to remember, it's not just the mortgage market that's bad in Canada. It's older private debt. And of course, I'm waiting still on the 2016 December numbers on the private debt to GDP, because the last one was 270 something.
And that was what, December 2015?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a year and a half ago now. I'm very scared that number have risen, and Canada is not number 10 anymore in the world. They might have surpassed Norway, which is number 4. And of course, it comes back to high tax countries are the ones that go into most debt because they want to have the same great things as everybody else, but they have to get into debt because they're getting stolen from by their governments.
Well, that's kind of the job of government, is to steal. That's what they're there for. They're there for extortion and for control. And I mean, that just comes with the territory, of course. But I mean, the fact is, this is continuing to unravel. We talked about it not that long ago. In fact, I think it was last week, not even a week ago, where we were talking about how banks are preparing for this massive housing bubble burst. This has been a long time in the making, but it's all coming down.
My first big warning sign was that they're starting to collateralize loans and sell them off their books. Getting rid of the risk, basically. That's what they're doing. That's where I saw the first point. And now Home Capital Group is in a substantial failure. They're getting bailed out. But I don't think they will survive whatsoever because their mortgages are about to implode big time. And you got to remember, in Canada, they're a lot more lenient on foreclosing on people.
Of course.
It's almost a year-long process compared to the States. They'll foreclose on you in an instant almost. So we're about to see something very, very bad happening here in Canada, unfortunately. And this mountain of debt in Canada is going to come falling down, and it's gonna really suck big time.
It inevitably has to. And I want to just quickly make the point that's important, which is something that we've gone over many times before, which is that fundamentals are off the table, so you can't actually put a date on it. You can't say at this time this is going to happen.
No, because
but a lot of course, but a lot of the warning signs are popping up all over the place, and to ignore it is insanity. It's insanity if you see a guy coming at you with a gun, you're not sure if he's going to shoot you or not, but there's a good chance he's going to shoot you if he's running at you with a gun. So, heed the warning signs and do something about it instead of going, oh, it's all going to be okay. Let me just sit back apathetically and relax.
Well, it's like you're sitting at, the operations theater of the whole nuclear plant, and you see, suddenly a red light starts blinking over here, and then another one starts blinking over here. And at one point, the big red light will blink, and you have a meltdown.
It reminds me of Homer Simpson on The Simpsons. There's a meltdown happening. It's all going off, so he just pours his coffee all over the control panel. Ah, there we go.
Well, that's pullouts. That's pullouts, lowering the interest rates.
Basically, yes.
Exactly the same thing.
Exactly. Well, to end on that note, a slightly happier note than the fact that there's a huge wave of trouble coming at us. We will continue to update you on this, of course, as we have for a long time. And, things are going to continue to develop. It's insane to think otherwise, but we will continue to keep you up to date on this. But until next time, check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated. And of course, check our address for Bitcoin in the description and the comments, as well as on the screen for you to scan, if you please. We need this as our channel is getting vastly demonetized and censored by YouTube. Also, check our link for the Red Pill Expo, where you could see people like G. Edward Griffin, Robert Kiyosaki, James Corbett, Lord Moncton, Richard Gage, Cynthia McKinney, Mike Adams, Ty Bollinger, so many other great names. It's going to be great. It's going to be in June in Montana. We hope to see you there. So buy tickets below. But until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.